Hey guys, just wanted to show you this after the release of the beta. I thought I had a video on this, but I didn't. So hopefully this turns out okay. I'm not going to be changing the focus too much on this. I'm going to keep it on this sheet so it stays in focus. This is the what I call the matrix. It's in the Waybill sheet. One of the things with the beta release of RTS that doesn't have the ability to generate random numbers. The reason why there's two reasons why I chose not to put that in the program. One, well, maybe there's a few actually. Time being one of them. I only had so much limited time and I wanted to make sure that everything worked on most people if they were going to try it. I figure within the next month or so I'm pretty available to help out. And the other reason was I wanted to keep it open-ended so that if people decided they wanted to change things to suit their own means, that they could generate random numbers however they choose, or possibly use it like a card system. There's all kinds of things you can really do to generate waybills, and you can use your own. Like, anyways, I'm rambling on. This is what I used for the longest time before I used the program, and spreadsheets are great tools because you can do all kinds of calculations. You can get even more advanced in this, like for example, certain let's say one of the shippers or receivers is not as busy as the others, or one is busier than the others. The way I represented it in this is by capacity. So those that have bigger capacity are going to get more loads, whereas those that don't aren't. But there's a lot of situations where maybe it's an old industry that used to ship by rail quite a bit but doesn't do as much anymore, so there's a lot of ample trackage or room. So you may want to scale it down or put in other types of calculations. And it's beyond the scope of RTS itself, but I wanted to show you this anyways, how it's set up now. I put it in the instructions, but I wanted to actually visually show you what it looks like. And what I have opened right now is just one of these sheets, and this is the main sheet you would use, is the Waybill sheet inside the Mojave spreadsheet. I'm scrolling through this and hopefully the focus stays. And it's color coded, orange, yellow for BNSF, UP trains. Then there's other different colors for different types of locals, etc. But it's 547 actual orders that can, well, I should say 547 is the actual number of invoices that can call up, or waybill numbers, I should say. And it even tells you how to do it at the bottom. I forgot that was even in there. Random numbers are generated. Control C and Shift Control V is how you would go ahead and do this. So I'm going to generate right now, as I said. If you want to do 300 numbers, and I'm scrolling back up to the top, every time you if I was to hit Control C and Control V, as you can see, the random numbers are changing. And there's no problem with doing it within the green areas. There's two green areas under N and P that I've highlighted throughout. But as you can see down here, the minimum and maximum is changing. A lot of times 647 is the highest one you can get, 101 is the lowest, so every now and then it's doing 101, 103, blah, blah, blah. So, knowing that it's generated a string of random waybills, going back up to the top now, I suggest you do 300, but you can do any number you want. So we want to take 101, and we want to go all the way up to number 400, being 300 in total. So you go up to here. Actually, it's on 301, row 301, so that takes you for your first copy it. Just Control C to copy. Then you go back up to the top. And I'm using OpenOffice. You can use Excel. I don't have Excel, but I assume if I recall Excel from earlier years, they have the same functionality. Control Shift and V is different than Control V. If it did Control V, what it would actually do is just copy the random routine, and you don't want to do that. Otherwise, that number is going to keep changing every time you open up the sheet. So you want to do Control Shift V. And what that is paste special. So now you have it default to paste all. You don't want that. You don't want to paste formulas, and you also don't want to paste just you don't want to paste text because they're actually numbers. So you want to click numbers. It's only on the left hand side. You don't want formulas, comments, anything like that. The only thing you're looking for, numbers, no shifting, operations, none, and you hit OK. And there we have it. So now column O and Q have both populated. And if I was to go down, and scroll down there to the bottom, I know there's a faster way of doing it. I like using the mouse wheel. I guess it gives me finger exercise. You see the number 300 is totaled up here. So that's great. Here, this is faster. You see in some places there's nothing going, and others it's going 1. A lot of times the shipper is the same, whereas the receiver or the consignee has changed. It's going a different direction once it comes back from the shipper, and that's where in the yard it makes it a little bit random. Before I even go into that, this spreadsheet was shipped with the auto filter on. You don't want to sort this sheet. Actually go in and use the sort commands, or else I don't recommend it. It'll probably turn it into a mess unless you know how to sort it back. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would use the auto filters as it is set up here. The auto filters are set to on, like I said, and what that is these little tabs that are at the top. So if you generally wouldn't want to change it to a shipper, but let's just say, for example, you want to go to the ship service and you want to filter it on what is being shipped on the train MYRBK. So that's Yermo to Bakersfield. As soon as you click on that, this so much isn't important. What is important is the numbers here, not the actual invoice numbers, but where the numbers are showing up. Now the totals are going to show up the same. They're not going to change based on the filter. But this is how you can actually go into a train, and it may take 2 trains. I find it usually takes about 2 mainline trains to fill the orders of a single. So you might have to run, I shouldn't say that. It takes 2 bar back trains, I should say, to fill an order, because there's only 1 train that goes to BNSF, whereas there's 2 that come from Yermo or West Colton that you can use. So by doing the auto filter, now you can actually spawn the train into the world, go in, and I won't show it here. I've shown it before. All you have to do is you're going in, and on column A over here is the actual Waybill numbers. So you can see if, for example, 326 is the top one and you wanted to fill in a hopper that's going to ship plastic to Advanced Drainage Systems at UP Edison, all you would do is put in number 1 here, and that drops to 0. Let's just say we're going to do, for the sake of argument, we'll do these 3 here. They're single requests, so 4 cars. 4 cars are actually coming from Yermo on MYRBK, and they're going directly to Bakersfield, which will eventually be set to be used on the service for the UP Edison train. So once it got into Bakersfield, then you produce a switch list, and you would actually have to pull out those cars into a train that was going to UP Edison. And this among many would be part of your UP Edison train. And if I go down to the bottom, as you can see the change here, 300 is still the number of calls, but now we're at 296. This is the number. The number on the right, the far right, is actually what's left to be filled. Say, for example, you didn't have that many plastic cars on that train, then that's why you would use that. So I'll delete that here. I'll show you briefly, and I'll put this back up to auto. You can filter any of these. You can filter by car type, receiver. You put that back up to auto. You can, it's pretty self-explanatory. To see what kind of cars, that's not it. Consist. These are short forms. Acid, box, was it fuel, grain, and hoppers, potash, tank, used, and it tells you how many there actually are. CL and C are corn loads or something. Yeah, the corn tanks, which isn't that many of them. But looking at this, you can see that, for example, the what was it, Yermo? Hopper empties. Showing, oh, it's a hopper load. Sorry, it's loaded hopper going to. So there's 23 loaded hoppers on there. So going back into, like, for example, there'll be 23 loaded hoppers on MYRBK HL. If you go back to the Waybill, for example, and you were to say ship service MYRBK, and you can even change it to hopper. Now it gives you a little bit of a bigger picture. So you got all your hoppers, and if I count them here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. How many did I say? 23. That works out pretty good, actually. So you got one extra loaded hopper. What you can do is now you can assign it to an interchange. So it's you can how you assign it as to what interchange is beyond the scope of even this sheet. You can create another sheet if you want. You can do all kinds of things with Excel Open Office to suit your needs. The big thing with the RTS program, which isn't shown here, I just wanted to show you this sheet. The big thing with the RTS program is I had to step away from this sheet because I needed a fast and easy way to go through an inventory of what was already out there in my yards. If you start off with empty yards and you don't save files, you're not going to get an inventory, and the program is going to be pretty useless. So you're going to have to go in and fill up these requests by going in as I just showed you, and you're basically filling car requests for all the trains that you want to service. You can change this. You can't add or delete, but you can certainly change the waybills to suit your own needs or your own trains. If you're using UP trains, I know some people have been using UP symbols, you can change it so that it does UP symbols as opposed to BNSF if you would rather do that instead. Anyways, that's about it for, pretty much clears that up. So if you have any questions, I'm around for the next little bit until the beginning of spring, and I can try to help you on my website. It's probably the best way to get in touch with me, and any specific questions you have or concerns, how to best utilize the program for your own sessions and single players, I can probably try to coach you in that and get you through some of the others. If you have any suggestions for a video or you need something covered that I haven't covered already, also send me some feedback. Let me know, and I'll see what I can do about that too. Okay? Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.